up pretty quickly. We had started this last problem the other day. It was this rectangular pyramid. We went ahead and found the angle between face ABV and the base to be about 51 degrees. Okay, so all we have left is B, the angle between the edge AV and the base. Okay. And we want to know C, the angle between the plane ABV and the plane DCV. So let's go ahead and start out here. Did anybody actually finish it up and get the answer for B? Anybody think they know what measure you got? Gabby, what'd you get? 47.9. That is perfect. Okay, so theta is about 47.9 degrees. And who finished up C? Okay, Samir, what'd you get? Okay, 78 degrees. I got 77.9, so that's perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and say 78 degrees. All right. So how many other people got those right? Okay, so a couple hands going up. That's all right. Okay, so now that we know what we should be getting, well, let's get some folks up here to kind of help us out. Okay, who wants to help me with B? So many hands. I just need one. One volunteer. So the angle between the edge AV and the base. And you'll notice I've already got that diagrammed over here. So here's the edge AV and the base of the prism. Okay, so we're looking at this triangle right here. Okay, now we didn't originally have a center point for the rectangle, but we're going to go ahead and call it E now, just so we have a frame of reference. Here's A, here's V. This is what we're looking for. So imagine, this triangle is just contained within the prism that we're looking for. Okay. Oh, who wants to help me out? I've already set up the first diagram. Okay. Samir, you want to do it? All right. There we go. Okay. Perfect.
So then, looking from this information from the previous, we know that this angle is 11.1, and this one is 15. So then this is opposite over hypotenuse, so this is sine. And then we'll need to use inverse sine.
Okay. So sine inverse of... Excuse me.
That'll get you here.
There you go. Okay. So you're saying the height VE was the 11.1?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. Any questions? Did anybody want to see it done a different way? A different way, he used the height and the slant edge. Okay. What I went ahead and did was I used the slant edge and then the base AE. Because this right here, okay, if I go ahead and connect this right along the base, that creates a what? A rectangle. So I know this front edge is 9, so this is 4.5. And I know that this other edge here would have to be 9 because that's half of the other edge. And then I used that to figure out what AE was. And in fact, I got 10.06 right around there. So 10.06, and I already had that as 15. And I ended up using cosine. But see, already two different ways to get the same answer. Okay, perfect. Okay, all we got left is C. And we're done with the notes. Who wants to help me with this one? Do I need to pull out the random number generator? God, there's just so much awesome feedback today. I can almost not hear what's going on. It's so loud. Or Samir, do you just want to pick? Oh, no. We don't want to. I know that somebody's out there thinking, man, I really want to go up, but I don't want to look like I'm volunteering, so I don't know. But that's got to be the thing. Who would you like to see work this problem? So you just want me to do the number generator? Let's do the number generator. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Samir, you're in 24? 24, okay. So I'll go ahead and do this then. Now, because he's in the very last seat, 24, I'm only going to go ahead and put in 23. All right, so any volunteers before I push enter or generate? 11. That is Karime. All right. She's got a big smile on her face. Yay. That's okay. We're going to help you through this. There you go. That's fine. That's fine. I stand up here all the time and don't know what I'm doing. So there you go. Okay, so let's help her out with this. We're trying to find the angle between plane ABV. So this is the front face, okay, and plane DCV. All right. So we're trying to find the angle between those two. All right, so how can we diagram this? In fact, there's actually just one diagram I use to help me out. We're looking at the angle between the front face and what? The back face. So what perspective do you think I took? I looked straight at it from the side. Okay, so if I come at it from, let's say, the right, well, what would I see? There you go. It's going to be an isosceles triangle. In fact, I'm talking about BCV, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a triangle. Okay. We know that's 15. Very good. That's 15. Okay. Now, this is the side. So this is BCV. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the two planes that we're talking about, we're looking at them from the edge. So BV is that front plane, CV is the back plane, right? So what I'm trying to figure out is this measure between the two. Okay, so how can I do that? Okay, law of cosines? We could do that, yeah, absolutely. So let's say this is my theta. Okay, let me get a marker here. Okay. All right, so side, side, side. If I'm looking for angle V, okay, Karime, what would start my equation? Okay, 18, very good. So we'd say 18 what? What do we always do to that first side? Square it. And now we set that equal to? And what do we do with the other two sides? We square those, and then we do what? So we have 15 squared, and there's something we do between them. Now multiply. We add those, and now we subtract, so you're right. 2 times 15 times another 15. Ooh, interesting. I don't know what that is. We'll get rid of it. Okay. So times another 15, and now we finish with what? What trig function? Remember, we're using the law of... So then we end it with cosine of theta, because that's what we're trying to find. Very good.
And then you just square root it.
Well, not on this one. Because, see, we're looking for theta. If I were looking for the side length, we would absolutely go ahead and do that. So what we need to do is take this equation and solve it for cosine of theta.
So you just subtract this,
Subtract what?
the 18 squared.
I would move the other terms. Okay, so let's see here. Let me go ahead and set this up. So we're going to have, I'm going to fight you for the pen. Cosine of theta equals, so I'm going to draw this big fraction here. Okay. So now, what terms would I subtract?
All of the
Okay, so I've already got the 18 squared over there. So then I'm going to subtract, and all this is going to go in the numerator. We'll talk about the denominator in just a second.
So 15 squared.
Oh no, we have to start with 18 squared because that's what's on the other side.
So 18 squared.
And now I'm going to subtract what two terms?
15 squared.
15 squared. So we're going to subtract both of those. Okay. Now the negative 2 times 15 times 15, that's a coefficient of cosine of theta. So what's the opposite of multiplication? Divide. So down there, we're going to say negative 2, 15, 15. Perfect. Now, as soon as we figure out that ratio, how will I get theta? What do we do in order to find theta? It starts with an I.
The inverse.
The inverse, yes. Okay, so let's type this in. Control divide. Okay, so we have 18 squared minus 15 squared minus 15 squared over negative 2 times 15 times 15, or I could just put 15 squared. Okay, so there's what we should be getting. And Karime said we're going to take the cosine inverse of that. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did we do wrong?
I think we took just the normal,
Oh, you're right. Yep. We should have taken the slant height. That was my fault. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. So it wouldn't be 15 and 15. Yep. The slant height. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So we want to do the exact same thing, but with 14.3. And see, this comes right after I just made a joke about I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, I'm awful. Okay. Oh, okay. So just imagine solving this problem, but for every 15, just put in 14.3. Yeah, this is the correct answer. I'm sorry. That is totally my fault. I was thinking about, looking at the wrong edge. Did anybody notice that when we got started? Why didn't you say anything? Oh, well, I know it's kind of unusual to think Mr. West would be wrong, but yeah, it does happen, especially if you talk to my wife. Okay.
Oh, don't say
Now,
that.
I was making a joke that my wife says I'm wrong a lot.
Maybe
Just
she's
like a
wrong.
little. You're on recording saying that. I would never say that about my beautiful wife. What's your name again? John Johnston?
You forgot.
Okay. There you go.
It's
All right.
John Johnson.
Yes.
I don't understand why you're using the 14.
Oh, because we need the slant height. No, because that's going to represent, that's a line that's actually going through the two-dimensional face. And if we want the angle between them, we don't want to use the edges, we want to actually use the slant height. So imagine this triangle right here is directly in the middle of what we want. So if I'm looking at it from the right, so there's that slant height, there's that slant height, there's that. I mean, these aren't even B and C. The V was correct, but the other one, I took the wrong edge. That was my fault. We should have used the slant height on that. I don't know, does that kind of help out?
Maybe I'm just stupid, but
No. No, you're not stupid. Yeah. Yeah, because remember, in the original problem, we already knew the slant height was 14.3, right? Yeah, but what we found was, because of the diagram we drew, we went ahead and found, here's face. Let me see if I can draw it like that. Here's BCV. What we found was simply the measure of BVC, the angle between the two sides on the face. But if we want it in the pyramid, imagine that this right here is embedded inside of that prism, like it's one slice in this solid unit. Okay. I don't know. That's the thing about these three-dimensional pictures. It's very hard sometimes to, kind of wrap your head around that. Does anybody have another way of kind of explaining that? Kind of helping her visualize it?
I understand.
You do understand? You sure? Okay. All right. Okay, how we doing? Sydney, you good? You good? All right, make sure. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pass out your homework in just a second. The only other thing I want to go ahead and show you is this right here. So I had 3 big packets for you when you came in today, and I didn't go ahead and snapshot every one of these because that would have been an enormous file, and I didn't have the time to do that. But I wanted to go ahead and kind of give you an idea about what's going to be happening in a month and a half, because we said earlier, and May 13th and 14th, that's when you take your paper exams. Okay, so one of these packets, this is paper exam 1. Another packet is paper exam 2 from 2014. Okay, so 5 short years ago. Paper exam 1 is made up of 15 questions covering all the topics we've seen throughout the entire year. Paper 2 is going to have 6 questions, but more than likely it's still going to cover the majority of the material we've looked at throughout the entire year. So I would strongly encourage you, between now and then, and at some point we're going to go ahead and start looking at this ourselves. I'm going to get you a copy of last year's release test, and we're going to actually go ahead and treat it like a real exam. I'm going to give you an hour and a half for each. Then we'll talk about the answers. We're going to go through the entire process. But this right here at least allows you to kind of see what's going to be happening. Okay. Each paper, the maximum number of marks you can get is going to be 90. And you'll notice, I've mentioned this before, as you go through these problems here, you'll notice it's going to tell you the number of marks as it progresses. Like number 1 on paper 1 was worth a total of 6 marks. Okay, and it's very possible to get all 6. It's possible to get only a portion of that. But a good rule of thumb, you remember I mentioned this before, however many marks is given for a problem, what did I mention about that? Like if this says 2 marks, what does that tell you? There you go. Okay, 1 less than the number of marks you're given, that's a really good rule of thumb. That's the minimum number of steps you should show for that. Okay, so this one here, 2 marks, I would at least go ahead and show maybe something to indicate how you got that. The only time where I would not put any work at all is if it says 1 mark. If it says just 1 mark, then somehow, some way, it is right there in front of you. You just have to find whatever answer they're looking for. Okay, so these are the paper exams. Kind of let you look through those. You'll already notice like a frequency histogram. We haven't seen those since what, August, September? So it's been a long time. What I'm going to be focusing on after we finish up this next unit, we're starting it on Monday, the last unit, so I'm hoping like 2 weeks we're done and we have about a month to review. I've got a series of 6 different review packets covering all the topics that we're just going to spend our time going over, remembering how to do this. We're going to be looking at specific exams. We'll even revisit this one, but this is just so you have something kind of concrete to look at. All right. Now, the other packet, the largest packet, this is what's called the mark scheme. Okay. Now, every IB grader is provided this. Essentially, it is an enormous rubric that walks them through step by step exactly how to assign points. So they have no choice in this. I mean, it is very, very specific as to what they have to do. Again, I only copied the first couple of pages of it, but here are the abbreviations, because as you start going through the marks, they're going to use these letters and you're going to want to know what those mean. Okay, M, marks awarded for method. A is accuracy, C is for correct answers, R is for reasoning, and FT is for follow through. Okay, so you can be awarded points even if your answer is completely wrong. If you happen to have chosen the wrong strategy, but all of your math is still correct, that would have been the correct answer, you can still get points for that. In fact, one thing that I like here, if you take a look at C, it says in this paper, if the correct answer is seen on the answer line, they don't look at the work. The only time they're going to go ahead and look at your work is if they don't see the right answer. Now, of course, I would encourage you to go ahead and make sure you have some work there. Even if it's something and it's super simple, it's just kind of like insurance. If you get the wrong answer, you could still get some possible points based on your strategy or even a follow-through. If what you used from a previous portion of a problem is incorrect, but you used it in a correct way. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'll let you go ahead and read through that because and then once you go ahead and get through, then There's the answer key. So you have the answer for every one of these problems in the 2 packets. It first goes through the mark scheme. It tells the marker exactly how they're able to assign points, and then it goes through the answers. Okay. Remember, A was for accuracy. C is for correct. So based on the answers, you can get 2 points, 1 point, or follow through. You can kind of go through and get a sense for how these people are supposed to be grading your papers. So I kind of think that if you know what they're going to be looking for, I think that kind of gives you an advantage, I think, definitely when you're writing your answers down. Okay. In fact, how many people would remember how to do this problem just right away? Okay, so that's good. Okay, that's good. If you're not raising your hand, that's fine. We covered a lot of material this year, and we're not done yet. We still have our calculus unit. So it's super quiet, but that's okay. All right. But I just wanted to go ahead and make sure you had this within plenty of time. If you're looking through some of these problems and you're not getting the right answer, definitely come see me. But just know that we are going to be spending a lot of time reviewing all these concepts. Okay, we're going to go back over everything. So any questions about the paper exams, the mark schemes, anything like that? If you're looking for some good reading material, maybe a Friday or Saturday night, you're sitting at home, don't have anything to do, and what teenager doesn't, right? Okay, true that. You know, go ahead and pull out the old mark scheme. Maybe just try one problem. Just see what you can remember. Go back through the mark scheme. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and